I stare at the pink slip in my hands, the words, "Termination effective immediately," swimming before my eyes like cruel little fish. 10 years of dedication to the Riverside Public Library, reduced to a single sheet of paper and a box of personal belongings. "I'm sorry, Sarah," Director Thompson says, not meeting my eyes. His hands fidget with a gold pen, the same one I'd given him last Christmas. "It's out of my hands. The board's decision is final." The lie in his voice is as clear as the afternoon sun streaming through his office window. I've known this man for a decade, watched him stammer through budget meetings and celebration speeches. He's never been good at deception. "Who made the call?" I ask, my voice steadier than I expect. "Really made it?" He clicks the pen repeatedly, a nervous tick I've seen 1,000 times. "I can't discuss that. Legal reasons, you understand." I don't understand, not at all. But I gather what's left of my dignity and stand up, the chair scraping against the floor with a sound like fingernails on a chalkboard. "Of course, legal reasons." The words taste like vinegar on my tongue. My box sits on my desk, hastily packed by someone else's hands. My carefully curated reading recommendations for the children's section are already gone, replaced by generic bestseller lists. They didn't waste any time erasing me. Emily catches me at the front desk, her face flushed with anger. "This is bullshit, Sarah. Complete bullshit. They can't just—" "They can," I cut her off, shifting the box in my arms. "They did. But your programs, the literacy initiative, someone else will handle it." The words come out sharper than intended, making Emily flinch. "Sorry, I need to process this." The walk to my car feels like a walk of shame, even though I've done nothing wrong. My mind races through possible reasons. Budget cuts, personal vendetta, the recent divorce making me appear unstable. None of it makes sense. My phone buzzes as I reach the parking lot. Unknown number. "Hello? Miss Mitchell?" A man's voice, smooth as aged whiskey. "I couldn't help but notice your situation at the library. Perhaps we could discuss some opportunities over coffee?" I should hang up. Strange men calling at precisely the wrong moment screams, "Trap." But something in his voice holds me there, like a hook caught in tender flesh. Who is this? Ryan Harper. The name means nothing to me, but the confidence in his tone suggests it should. "I have a proposition that might interest you, given your current circumstances." "My current circumstances happened 10 minutes ago." He chuckles, the sound rich and warm. "News travels fast in certain circles. The daily grind, 30 minutes. I'll be the one with the Wall Street Journal and an espresso." I should say no. Should go home, curl up with a bottle of wine, and lick my wounds. But anger and curiosity make a dangerous cocktail. 45 minutes, I counter. I need to drop some things at home. "Perfect. And Miss Mitchell? I'm truly sorry about the library. It's not right what they did to you." The line goes dead before I can respond. I sit in my car, staring at the box of memories in my passenger seat, and feel something shift inside me. The familiar comfort of books and routine crumbles away, revealing something harder underneath, something that wants answers. My phone buzzes again. Emily, probably checking on me. I ignore it. Whatever game this Ryan Harper is playing, whatever circles he moves in that knew about my firing before it happened, I'm going to find out. Because one thing's become crystal clear. This wasn't a simple termination. This was a calculated move in someone else's game, and I'm tired of being a pawn. The daily grind hums with afternoon activity as I spot Ryan Harper exactly where he said he'd be. His tailored suit stands out among the casual crowd like a shark in a goldfish pond. He rises when I approach, and I notice his smile doesn't quite reach his eyes. "Miss Mitchell, thank you for coming." He gestures to the chair across from him. A steaming cup already waits for me. My usual order, somehow. "How did you know what I drink?" "Lucky guess." He slides the cup closer. "Most librarians I know prefer their coffee like their books, complex and thoughtfully prepared." I leave the cup untouched. "Most librarians you know? And how many would that be?" His laugh is practiced, precise. Point taken. I did my homework before reaching out. Your reputation at Riverside was impressive. The children's literacy program in particular caught my attention. You still haven't explained why I'm here. Direct. I like that. He leans forward, lowering his voice. What if I told you I could offer you something better than your position at the library? Something that would make today's unpleasantness seem like a blessing in disguise? My phone buzzes again, Emily's third attempt to reach me. I silence it without looking away from Ryan's face. I'd say that timing is everything, and yours is suspiciously perfect. Sometimes opportunity knocks at unexpected moments. He pulls out a business card, sliding it across the table. The paper feels expensive between my fingers. My family's foundation is launching a new educational initiative. We need someone with your expertise to oversee it. The Harper Foundation, I read aloud. The logo looks familiar. I've seen it on donor plaques around town. Why me? Because you understand the importance of stories, of shaping narratives. Something shifts in his expression, almost imperceptible. The position comes with significant resources at your disposal, complete creative control. And what's the catch? Dinner. He says it simply, like he's suggesting a handshake. With my parents this Saturday. They'll want to meet the person who'll be handling such a delicate project. My coffee sits untouched, growing cold. You orchestrated my firing, didn't you? Instead of denying it, he studies me with newfound interest. Would it matter if I did? The outcome remains the same. You need a job, and I'm offering you an opportunity that could change your life. That's not a no. No, it's not. He reaches across the table, his fingers brushing mine as he retrieves his business card. 7 o'clock Saturday. The address is on the back. Wear something elegant. My mother notices these things. I should walk away. Every instinct screams that I'm being manipulated, moved like a piece on a chessboard. But curiosity burns stronger than caution. Why go to all this trouble? You could have just approached me at the library. Some doors need to close before others can open. He stands, adjusting his cuffs with practiced precision. Besides, I find that people are most interesting when they're knocked off balance, shows their true character. As he turns to leave, I call after him. And what if I don't show up? He pauses, that same calculated smile playing at his lips. Then you'll never know why the board was so eager to let you go, will you? The cafe feels colder after he leaves. I finally take a sip of the coffee he ordered. Perfect temperature, exactly how I like it. My phone buzzes again, this time with a text from Emily. Where are you? We need to talk about what happened. I stare at the message, then at the business card still on the table. Ryan's words echo in my head. Some doors need to close before others can open. He's right about one thing. I want answers. But as I pick up the card and run my thumb across the embossed lettering, I can't shake the feeling that I'm about to walk through a door that won't easily close behind me. Saturday's dinner invitation sits like a weight in my pocket, a ticket to either salvation or damnation. Only one way to find out which. I text Emily back. Rain check. Something came up. Then I add the Harper Foundation's address to my calendar, already wondering what elegant means to people who can orchestrate someone's firing with a snap of their fingers. Game on, Ryan Harper. Game on. The Harper Mansion looms before me like something out of a Gothic novel, all sharp angles and dark windows. Victoria Harper's smile is equally sharp as she opens the door, her pearl necklace catching the evening light. Sarah, darling, right on time. Her perfume wraps around me like expensive chains. Ryan speaks so highly of you. The foyer could swallow my entire apartment. Family portraits line the walls, generations of Harpers staring down with identical calculated smiles. Ryan appears at my elbow, his hand settling at the small of my back. Mother, you're hovering. Nonsense. I'm being welcoming. Victoria's eyes flick over my dress, the most expensive thing I own, and clearly not expensive enough. Daniel's in the study. Why don't you show Sarah around while I check on dinner? Ryan guides me through rooms that feel more like museum exhibits than living spaces. In the study, Daniel Harper barely looks up from his laptop. Welcome to the family business. he says, as if my presence is already a foregone conclusion. The word family catches in my throat like a fishhook. During dinner, Victoria orchestrates the conversation like a conductor, each topic carefully selected. Ryan tells us you're quite the expert on community engagement, she says, cutting into her perfectly cooked salmon. Such a shame about the library. Politics can be so messy. Politics? I set down my fork. I was told it was a budget issue. Oh, everything's politics these days. Victoria waves her hand dismissively. The right word in the right ear, and suddenly budgets appear or disappear. Fascinating process, really. Ryan tenses beside me. I feel the trap closing, but can't see its shape yet. Speaking of processes, Daniel interjects. Have you considered our offer, Sarah, the foundation position? I'm still evaluating my options. Victoria's smile tightens. Options, dear, in this economy? Besides, we're offering you something quite special. The Foundation's new literacy initiative could use someone with your particular background. My background as a recently fired librarian? Your background as someone who understands loss, Victoria says softly, and the importance of securing one's future. The room suddenly feels airless. Ryan's hand finds mine under the table, but I can't tell if it's meant to comfort or restrain. Mother, Ryan starts, but Victoria cuts him off. I'm simply being honest, dear. Sarah's clearly intelligent. She must understand what we're offering. And what exactly is that, I ask, though I already know the answer won't be the truth. Security, influence, family. Victoria sets down her wine glass with precise movements. Things I imagine you've been missing since your divorce. Speaking of which, how is Thomas enjoying his new position at Sterling and Myers? The law firm partnership suits him, I hear. The pieces click into place with nauseating clarity. My ex-husband's sudden career jump, the library board's unexpected decision, the Harper Foundation's timely offer. You've been watching me, I say. Planning this. Planning implies calculation, Victoria corrects. We prefer to think of it as creating opportunities. For whom? For all of us. Daniel finally looks up from his plate. The foundation needs fresh blood, new perspectives, and you need a safety net. What I need, I push back from the table, is air. Ryan follows me onto the terrace, closing the French doors behind us. Sarah, wait. It's not what you think. Really? Because I think your family orchestrated my firing, manipulated my ex-husband's career, and is now trying to buy me with some vague promise of security. They're trying to help. Help who, Ryan? Them? You? Because it sure as hell isn't me. He runs a hand through his hair, frustration breaking through his polished veneer. You don't understand how they operate. Everything's a transaction to them, even love. Is that what this is? Love? The question hangs between us like smoke. Inside, I can see Victoria watching through the window, her expression unreadable. Come back inside, Ryan pleads. Let me explain. But I'm already moving toward the driveway, my heels clicking against the stone path like tiny hammers nailing shut a coffin. Behind me, I hear Victoria's voice drift through the open window. Let her go, darling. She'll be back. They always come back when they run out of options. I pause at my car, looking back at the mansion. Ryan stands frozen on the terrace, caught between his mother's shadow and the fading light. For a moment, I almost pity him. Almost. The letter arrives on expensive cream paper, hand-delivered to my apartment. Inside, a single sheet contains life-changing news. My great-aunt Eleanor, whom I'd met exactly twice, has left me her entire estate. The inheritance that would solve all my problems. Except for one detail. Victoria Harper is the executor. I'm still staring at the letter when Emily bursts through my door. You need to see this. She thrusts her tablet at me, displaying a news article about the Harper Foundation's latest acquisition, the Riverside Public Library building. They're converting it into a private research facility, Emily says, watching my face. Guess who's leading the project? Thomas. My ex-husband's name tastes like copper in my mouth. They're all connected, aren't they? There's more. Emily swipes to another article. Ryan's been appointed to the city council. The vote was unanimous. A knock at the door makes us both jump. Ryan stands there looking less polished than usual. We need to talk. Emily moves between us. She's not interested. It's about Eleanor Mitchell's estate. His eyes meet mine. Mother's making her move tomorrow. I let him in, despite Emily's warning glare. He paces my small living room like a caged animal. The foundation position, the library, Thomas. It was all groundwork, he says. They needed control of your assets before... He stops abruptly. Before what? Before the merger. He runs a hand through his disheveled hair. Harper Industries is bleeding money. They need Eleanor's estate to shore up the losses. Mother's planning to declare you mentally unfit to manage the inheritance. Emily curses under her breath. I feel oddly calm, like I'm watching this happen to someone else. She can't do that, Emily protests. Sarah's perfectly competent. She has Thomas's testimony about Sarah's emotional instability during the divorce. The library board's statement about her erratic behavior. It's all fabricated, but it's enough, I finish. That's why she wanted me at the foundation, to document my decisions, build a case. Ryan nods, not meeting my eyes. I tried to stop it, but you're a coward. The words come out flat, factual. Sarah, why tell me now? He finally looks at me. Because I found out what happened to Eleanor Mitchell. She didn't die of natural causes. The room goes silent. Emily's hand finds mine, squeezing hard. Mother arranged for her medication to be adjusted. She'd been planning this for months, waiting for the right moment. When you lost your job, became vulnerable. He trails off. Get out. My voice doesn't shake. Neither do my hands. Sarah, please, I'm trying to help. Like you helped Eleanor? The calm starts cracking. Get out. He leaves a file on my coffee table before going. Everything you need to know is in here. But be careful. Mother's having you watched. After he's gone, Emily starts making calls to lawyer friends. I open the file with trembling fingers. Inside, I find documentation of Victoria's schemes. Emails, financial records, medical reports. A paper trail of destruction. My phone buzzes with a text from Victoria. Dinner tomorrow? We should discuss Eleanor's estate. Your future depends on it. Emily looks up from her phone. Marcus Flynn called back. He's willing to meet tonight. Who's Marcus Flynn? Former Harper Industries executive, left under mysterious circumstances last year, says he has information we need. I stare at Victoria's text, thinking about Eleanor, about the library, about all the lives the Harpers have casually destroyed. Tell him I'll be there. Sarah, Emily hesitates. Are you sure about this? These people are dangerous. I pick up Eleanor's letter, running my fingers over the expensive paper. They think I'm just another pawn, someone to manipulate and discard. I meet Emily's worried gaze. But they forgot something important. What's that? In chess, a pawn that reaches the other side of the board becomes a queen. I type a response to Victoria. Looking forward to it. The pieces are set. Tomorrow, Victoria expects to meet a broken woman ready to surrender her inheritance. Instead, she'll meet someone else entirely, someone who knows how to play the game. Marcus Flynn's office sits above a closed pawn shop, the kind of place the Harpers wouldn't deign to notice. Perfect for plotting their downfall. Victoria's pattern is consistent, Marcus says, spreading photographs across his desk. She finds vulnerable people with valuable assets, integrates them into the family's orbit, then destroys them systematically. The photos show familiar faces, all people who'd crossed paths with the Harpers, all broken in different ways. My phone buzzes with a text from Lily. Why is Victoria Harper asking me about your mental health? My hands clench. They're targeting my sister. Of course they are. Marcus's voice carries the weight of experience. Victoria likes to create pressure points. Your sister, your job, your reputation. She'll use everything. You sound like you know her well. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. I was chief financial officer at Harper Industries for 15 years, until I discovered irregularities in their charitable foundation's accounts. Next thing I knew, my wife was leaving me over fabricated evidence of an affair, and my teenage daughter wouldn't speak to me. Emily shifts in her chair. Why help Sarah? Why now? Because Victoria made a mistake with Eleanor Mitchell's estate. She got sloppy, left traces. He pulls out another file, including this. The document shows a series of transfers from Harper Industries to offshore accounts, each coinciding with a death or disappearance. Eleanor's name is the last on the list. My phone buzzes again. Ryan. Mother's meeting with the probate judge tomorrow. Whatever you're planning, do it fast. They're moving faster than we thought, I say. Marcus nods. Victoria's desperate. Harper Industries is hemorrhaging money. Without Eleanor's estate, they'll lose everything, Emily finishes. Not just money. Marcus's expression darkens. Power. Control. Victoria's entire identity is built on being untouchable. Take that away. My phone rings. Lily again. This time I answer. Sarah? Her voice trembles. Victoria's here at my apartment. She says she's worried about you, that you're having some kind of breakdown. She brought papers for me to sign. Don't sign anything. My voice sounds strange in my ears. I'm coming over. There's someone else here too. Thomas? Your ex? They're saying... The line goes dead. Emily's already grabbing her keys, but Marcus stops us. Wait, this is exactly what Victoria wants, to force you into making a mistake. That's my sister. And if you rush in without a plan, you'll lose everything, including any chance of helping Lily. He's right, but every second feels like betrayal. I force myself to think like Victoria, calculate moves and counter moves. The probate hearing, I say slowly. What if we let Victoria win? Emily stares at me. Have you lost your mind? No. Marcus leans forward. She's thinking like a chess player. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a piece to win the game. My phone buzzes one final time. Victoria. Lovely chat with Lily. She's so concerned about you, dear. Shall we discuss terms? I show them the message. Victoria thinks she has all the pieces in place, so let's let her think she's won. While we set up the real endgame, Marcus agrees. But Sarah, you need to understand, once we start this, there's no going back. Victoria won't just try to destroy you. She'll annihilate everything you care about. I think about Eleanor, about Lily, about all the lives Victoria has casually ruined, about the look in Ryan's eyes when he finally chose to warn me. Too little, too late. Good, I say, and my voice sounds like someone else's, someone harder. Because I'm going to do the same to her. Emily touches my arm. Sarah, this isn't about revenge anymore. I pick up one of Marcus's photographs, a family much like mine, now broken beyond repair. This is about justice, about making sure Victoria Harper never hurts another family again. Marcus gathers the files with practiced efficiency. Then let's begin. But remember, from this moment on, trust no one. Not Ryan, not the police, not even me. Why not you? His smile turns bitter. Because everyone has something to lose, and Victoria's very good at finding out what that is. I send Victoria a response. Terms, tomorrow, 9 a.m. Then I turn off my phone and start learning how to destroy the woman who thought she could own me. Tomorrow, Victoria Harper will think she's won everything, and that's exactly when she'll start losing it all. The probate hearing feels like a carefully orchestrated play, with Victoria Harper as both director and star. She sits across from me in the judge's chambers, perfectly composed in Chanel, while I deliberately let my hands shake as I hold the papers. Miss Mitchell appears unable to manage her affairs, Victoria says softly, concern dripping from every syllable. The recent erratic behavior, the job loss, the emotional instability. My lawyer, carefully chosen by Marcus for this performance, makes a weak protest. Judge Harrison barely glances up from the documentation. And you're willing to assume responsibility for the estate's management, Mrs. Harper? It's the least we can do for poor Eleanor's niece. I sign the papers with trembling fingers, playing my part. Victoria's smile widens fractionally, a predator's satisfaction at a clean kill. But as we leave the chambers, Emily rushes in, her face ashen. Sarah, it's Lily. She's in the hospital. The performance drops away like shattered glass. What? Apparent overdose, Emily says, watching Victoria from the corner of her eye. They found prescription medications. Victoria touches my arm, her grip steel beneath silk. My dear, this only proves we made the right decision. You need to focus on your sister now, not worry about managing an estate. I pull away, already running. Behind me, I hear Victoria's measured steps following at a careful distance, close enough to show concern, far enough to deny involvement. At the hospital, Thomas stands outside Lily's room, looking uncomfortable in his expensive suit. My ex-husband, now Victoria's puppet, blocking my path. You can't go in, he says. They're reviewing her psychiatric hold. Psychiatric hold? Given her state when they found her and the notes. What notes? He pulls out his phone, shows me texts supposedly from Lily about my unstable behavior, my paranoid accusations against the Harpers, my declining mental state, all perfectly crafted to support Victoria's narrative. You helped them do this, I realize. To my sister. Sarah, you need help. We're all worried. Ryan appears from around the corner, his face tight. Father's calling an emergency board meeting. They're announcing the merger tomorrow. Merger? The pieces click together with sickening clarity. You're selling Harper Industries. Restructuring, Ryan corrects, not meeting my eyes. Once Mother has control of Eleanor's estate, the company's debt disappears, I finish. And Lily? Was putting my sister in the hospital part of the restructuring plan? Victoria appears behind me, her voice carrying just far enough for nearby nurses to hear. Dear, you're getting agitated again. Perhaps you should let the doctors examine you while you're here? I feel the trap closing. The concerned family members, the documented instability, the convenient timing. One wrong move and I'll join Lily under psychiatric observation. My phone buzzes. Marcus, don't react. Everything's proceeding as planned. But the plan didn't account for Lily, for Victoria crossing this line. Ryan touches my arm. Sarah, please, just let us help. I jerk away, my voice rising deliberately. Help? Like you helped Eleanor? Victoria's mask slips for just a moment. Fear flickers behind her eyes. Security, Thomas calls right on cue. We need assistance here. As security approaches, I let them see exactly what Victoria wants them to see. An unstable woman having a breakdown. I struggle just enough to seem erratic but not dangerous. Take care of my sister, I tell Emily as they lead me away. Don't let them near her. Victoria watches from the doorway, victory written in every line of her perfect posture. She thinks she's won everything, the estate, the company, my freedom, my sister. She doesn't see Marcus in the parking lot, recording everything. Doesn't notice Emily slipping a nurse a thumb drive. Doesn't realize that sometimes, to win the game, you have to sacrifice your queen. In the security office, waiting for the psychiatric evaluation that Victoria undoubtedly arranged, I close my eyes and think of Eleanor, of Lily, of all the pieces Victoria moved so carefully into place. My phone buzzes one last time. Marcus. Files delivered. Tomorrow's board meeting will be interesting. I delete the message just as the doctor arrives, his clipboard already full of Victoria's carefully crafted concerns. Time to play my final role, the pawn who didn't realize she was about to become a queen. Tomorrow, Victoria Harper will learn that the game isn't over until the last piece falls, and I intend to make sure that piece is her. The Harper Industries boardroom buzzes with tension as Victoria takes her place at the head of the table. I watch through the security feed from Marcus's laptop, surrounded by federal agents in an unmarked van outside. The merger documentation is complete, Victoria announces to the board. With the Mitchell estate securing our position, the boardroom door swings open. Ryan walks in, followed by Emily and a stone-faced woman in a federal jacket. Actually, Mother, Ryan says, his voice steady, we should discuss the irregularities in the foundation's accounts first. Victoria's smile doesn't waver. This isn't the time. It's exactly the time. I step into the room, making Victoria freeze mid-sentence. Before we discuss my aunt's estate, let's talk about how she died. Security! Daniel starts to rise, but the federal agent raises her badge. Nobody leaves this room. Victoria's composure cracks for just a moment. Sarah, dear, shouldn't you be at the hospital? With my sister? The one you poisoned with the same medication cocktail that killed Eleanor? I slide a USB drive across the polished table. Everything's here. The offshore accounts, the falsified medical records, the pattern of mysterious deaths following Harper Foundation interventions. Lies, Victoria hisses, from an unstable woman. From your own records, Marcus steps in, carrying a familiar leather briefcase. The ones you kept in your private safe, the one I installed when I was CFO. Victoria's eyes dart between faces, calculating odds, searching for allies. She finds none. Ryan, she tries, surely you don't believe. I found Eleanor's original medical records, Ryan cuts her off. The ones before you had them altered. I'm done protecting this family's secrets. Victoria laughs, the sound brittle as breaking glass. Protected? You've never protected anything, Ryan. You're weak, just like your father. I built this empire while he played golf and you chased pretty girls. I made us untouchable. You made us monsters, Ryan says quietly. Victoria stands, suddenly radiating fury. Everything I did for this family, for our legacy. You think you can destroy that with some paperwork? I own this town. One phone call. To whom? I ask. Judge Harrison? He's being questioned about Eleanor's probate hearing. Thomas? He's already cutting a deal to save himself. Your pet doctors? They're running scared. You stupid girl. Victoria's smile turns vicious. You think this is justice? Revenge? You're just like the others. Weak, sentimental, easily broken. I'll destroy you, just like I destroyed them. And when I'm done, no one will even remember your name. That's where you're wrong. I pull out my phone, press play. Victoria's own voice fills the room, confessing to Eleanor's murder in the hospital corridor. I don't care if people remember my name. I care that they'll never forget yours. The boardroom erupts into chaos. Federal agents pour in. Daniel crumples in his chair. Board members scramble to distance themselves. But Victoria stands perfectly still, staring at me with something like recognition. Well played, she says softly. I almost wish you were really my daughter-in-law. We could have been magnificent together. I prefer magnificent on my own. As they lead Victoria away, Ryan touches my arm. Sarah, Don't. I step back. You chose your side too late. What happens now? I look around the boardroom at the empire Victoria built through blood and manipulation. Now, I'm going to do what librarians do best, preserve history, make sure no one forgets what happened here. Marcus appears at my shoulder. The federal investigation will take months. They'll want your testimony. They'll have it after I check on my sister. I turn to leave, but Victoria's voice stops me at the door. You think this is over? That you've won? She laughs, the sound echoing off marble walls. Oh, my dear, you have no idea what you've started. I meet her eyes one last time. No, Victoria, this isn't about winning, it's about justice. The difference is what you never understood. The federal agents lead her away, but her laughter follows me down the corridor. I don't look back. I've seen enough of Victoria Harper's face to last a lifetime. Besides, I have a sister to visit, a foundation to rebuild, and a story to tell. And this time, I'll make sure it has the right ending. The old library building still smells like books, even as workers strip away the Harper Foundation logos. Lily sits beside me on the front steps, her recovery visible in the return of color to her cheeks. What will you call it? She asks, watching the new sign being installed. The Eleanor Mitchell Memorial Library and Community Center. I hand her the dedication speech. Want to read it at the opening? She squeezes my hand instead of answering. We both know what it means, her voice getting stronger, her story becoming part of the narrative. Emily appears with coffee and newspaper clippings. Victoria Harper's conviction made headlines, but the smaller stories matter more. The returned properties, the overturned contracts, the lives slowly being rebuilt from the wreckage of Harper Industries. Marcus called, Emily says, settling beside us. He's testifying in another case. Apparently, Victoria's web stretched further than we thought. And Ryan? Cooperating with the investigation. He's selling everything, using the money to set up victim restitution funds. The morning sun catches the library's windows, and for a moment I see Eleanor's reflection instead of mine. What would she think of all this? Of justice served through careful manipulation and calculated revenge? A familiar car pulls up. Thomas, my ex-husband, looking smaller somehow without Victoria's influence propping him up. Sarah, he approaches cautiously. I heard about the opening. I wanted to... He trails off, noticing Lily's sharp gaze. I'm sorry for everything. I know. And I do know, finally. We were all pieces on Victoria's board, moved by her invisible hands. The difference was in how we chose to break free. He leaves a check, his contribution to the restitution fund, and drives away. One more thread in the tapestry of aftermath. Marcus arrives as the workers finish the sign. Quite a legacy you're building. Speaking of legacies, I turn to face him. When were you going to tell me about your daughter? He stiffens slightly. What about her? That Victoria didn't just destroy your career, that your daughter's mysterious illness cleared up as soon as you agreed to leave Harper Industries. His silence speaks volumes. You could have told me. We were fighting the same battle. No, he says quietly. You were fighting for justice. I was fighting for revenge. There's a difference. Is there? He gestures at the library, at the people gathering for the soft opening. Look what you built from the ashes. Me? I'm still burning. Before I can respond, a commotion erupts at the entrance. Daniel Harper stands there, aged decades in mere months, clutching an old book. It was Eleanor's, he says, holding it out like a peace offering. Victoria kept it as insurance. I thought you should have it. Inside, Eleanor's careful handwriting fills the margins with notes about the Harper family, observations, suspicions, plans never enacted. She saw it all coming, but ran out of time to stop it. Thank you, I say, but Daniel's already walking away, another ghost of the empire Victoria built, and I helped destroy. Lily reads over my shoulder. She was trying to protect you, wasn't she? Eleanor. She was trying to protect everyone. I close the book gently. Come on, let's go inside. The library fills with light and voices, children exploring the new reading nook, adults browsing job resources, life flowing back into spaces Victoria tried to control. But as I walk through my rebuilt world, Victoria's last words echo in my mind. You have no idea what you've started. Maybe she was right. Maybe this isn't an ending at all. Emily touches my arm. You okay? Just thinking about stories, I say, watching Lily help a young girl find the perfect book. How they never really end the way you expect. And how's this one ending? I look around at my transformed kingdom, built not from fear and manipulation like Victoria's, but from the ashes of what she destroyed. The power to help or harm, to rebuild or destroy, now rests in my hands. It's not, I realize. It's just changing chapters. The library hums with possibility, with futures being rewritten page by page. Victoria thought power meant controlling the story. I know better now. True power is giving others the chance to write their own.
I gripped the steering wheel tighter as I pulled into the familiar driveway of my childhood home, the Mercedes engine purring to a stop. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'd spent years being told I'd never amount to anything, and here I was, about to destroy everything they held dear. My name is Amber, and I'm about to teach my family a lesson they'll never forget. Darling, you made it! My mother's shrill voice pierced the air as I stepped out of the car. She rushed forward in her designer dress, arms outstretched for an embrace that felt more like a performance than genuine affection. Behind her, my father stood on the porch, watching with that same disapproving look I'd grown up with. Hi, Mom, I said, accepting her artificial hug. The scent of her expensive perfume brought back memories of all the times she'd told me I needed to try harder to be more like my brother. Speaking of the golden child, Reginald emerged from the house, looking considerably less polished than usual. His normally pristine appearance showed subtle signs of wear, slightly bloodshot eyes, a barely noticeable tremor in his hands. Little sister, he called out, his trademark smirk in place. Still driving that old thing? I smiled, knowing the old thing cost more than his annual bonus. It gets me where I need to go. Come inside, my father commanded, barely looking at me. Your mother's been cooking all day. The house hadn't changed, still filled with photos of Reginald's achievements. His graduation, his first job at the prestigious finance firm, his promotions. The few photos of me were from awkward teenage years, strategically placed in darker corners. "So," my mother started as we settled in the living room, "how's that little internet thing of yours going? Still selling? What was it again?" "It's an e-commerce platform, Mom, and it's going fine. More than fine. Try 8 figures in revenue last year alone. But they didn't need to know that. Not yet." "Well, that's nice," she said in the same tone she used when describing discount store clothing. "Your brother just closed another major deal, didn't you, Reggie? Tell her about it." Reginald shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "It's not that interesting, Mother. Don't be modest. He's handling the Peterson account now, biggest client at the firm." My father beamed with pride, then turned to me with a pointed look. "You know, if you'd followed our advice and gone into finance like your brother—" "Dad, please," I interrupted, maintaining my calm. "Let's not start that again." "Your father's just trying to help," my mother chimed in. "We worry about you, sweetheart, living alone in that tiny apartment, working on your computer all day. It's not too late to make some changes." If they only knew about my penthouse overlooking Central Park. "Where's Violet?" I asked, changing the subject. "I thought she'd be here by now." "Oh, your cousin's running late as usual," my mother sighed. "That girl needs to learn some responsibility. Unlike Reginald, always so punctual, so professional." I watched as Reginald excused himself, heading to the bathroom for the 3rd time in an hour. Nobody else seemed to notice, or maybe they were choosing not to. My phone buzzed, a text from Violet. "Everything's ready for tomorrow. You sure about this?" I typed back quickly. "Absolutely." "Amber, put that phone away," my father snapped. "We're having family time." Family time. Right. Like all those family times when they'd forgotten my school performances, or when they'd emptied my college fund to pay for Reginald's MBA, telling me I could take out loans since I wasn't going anywhere special anyway. "Sorry, Dad," I said sweetly, slipping the phone into my pocket. "Just confirming details for tomorrow's presentation." "Presentation?" my mother asked, suddenly interested. "What presentation?" "Oh, just a little something I've prepared for the family reunion tomorrow. I thought it was time to share what I've been up to these past few years." Reginald returned, looking slightly pale. Our eyes met, and for a moment I saw fear flash across his face. He knew something was coming. He just didn't know what. "Well, isn't that lovely?" my mother said dismissively. "Now, who wants to hear about Reginald's new beach house?" I smiled and settled back in my chair, letting them ramble on about their precious son's latest achievement. Let them have this moment. Tomorrow, their perfect little world would come crashing down and I would finally have my revenge. The best part? They'd brought it all on themselves. Later that night, I sat in my old bedroom, scrolling through the evidence I'd collected over the past year. My laptop's glow illuminated the space where my childhood dreams had been crushed, one criticism at a time. A soft knock interrupted my thoughts. "It's open," I called out. Reginald slipped in, closing the door behind him. He looked worse than earlier, sweat beading on his forehead despite the cool air conditioning. "Need something?" I asked, keeping my voice neutral while quickly minimizing the windows on my screen. "Look, Amber." He ran his hands through his hair, a nervous habit from childhood. "About tomorrow? I was wondering what exactly you're planning to present." I leaned back in my chair. "Why so concerned, big brother?" "I'm not... I just..." His hands were shaking more noticeably now. "Things haven't been great at work lately, and I..." "You mean since you lost the Thompson account? Or since you started dipping into client funds to cover your gambling debts?" The color drained from his face. "How did you..." "I know everything, Reg. Everything." I pulled up a document on my screen, turning it toward him. "Including your little visits to that sketchy clinic on 5th Street. Interesting place for a financial advisor to spend so much time, isn't it?" "You've been following me?" "I didn't have to. Money leaves trails, brother dear, and you've left quite a few." He collapsed onto my bed, head in his hands. "Please, you can't tell Mom and Dad. They'll..." "They'll what? Finally see their golden boy for who he really is?" I stood up, walking to my window. "Remember when I was 17 and I asked to borrow money for my web development course?" "Amber, that was different." "Different how?" Oh, right, because Dad said I was wasting my time with internet nonsense, while they paid for your gambling habit disguised as investment losses. A notification popped up on my phone, another six-figure sale on my platform. I smiled, remembering the years of working late nights, building my business piece by piece while my family mocked my choices. What do you want? Reginald asked, his voice barely a whisper. Money? I can get you money. I laughed. I made more last month than you do in a year, Reg. I don't need your money. I never did. His head snapped up. What? That little internet thing Mom keeps dismissing? It's worth millions now. But that's not even the best part. I pulled up another file. Want to know what I found in Dad's records? Don't, he pleaded. Too late. I already know about the fake accounts, the money laundering through his firm. Did you know he's been stealing from his clients for years? Of course you did. You learned from the master, didn't you? A text from Violet lit up my phone. Found more dirt on Uncle Marquis. Call me ASAP. How long have you been planning this? Reginald asked. Since the day I overheard Mom and Dad laughing about my cute little website while they planned your surprise Porsche gift. The same day I had to take a bus home because I couldn't afford car repairs. He stood up, desperation clear in his eyes. We can fix this. Whatever you're planning for tomorrow, we can work something out. Like how you worked something out when I needed help? When I was working 3 jobs to make ends meet, and you told everyone I was just too lazy to find a real career? I was wrong, okay? I admit it. I was wrong about everything. I turned back to my laptop, pulling up the presentation I'd prepared for tomorrow. You know what's funny? I actually believed in you when we were kids. My big brother, the family success story. Until I realized success meant nothing without integrity. Please, he tried one last time. Mom and Dad, this will destroy them. They destroyed themselves, Reg. I'm just going to show everyone the truth. I walked to my door, opening it. Now get out, and don't even think about warning them. I have backups of everything. As he slunk out, I noticed his hands were trembling worse than ever. He'd probably be looking for another fix soon. My phone buzzed again. Violet sending documents about Dad's latest fraud scheme. Perfect timing. Tomorrow couldn't come soon enough. I closed my laptop, lying back on my childhood bed. Above me, glow-in-the-dark stars I'd put up at 12 still clung to the ceiling, back when I believed in wishes and family loyalty. Now I knew better. Sometimes the only way to find justice is to create it yourself. Tomorrow, every star would fall, and with them, my family's carefully constructed facade would crumble to dust. Morning arrived with the smell of coffee and my mother's forced cheerfulness. I was checking my emails when she burst into my room without knocking. Amber, dear, your father and I need to speak with you. Her tone was honey-sweet, always a bad sign. In the kitchen, Dad sat at the head of the table, reading something on his iPad. Reginald was nowhere to be seen. Sleep well? Mom asked, pouring coffee I hadn't requested. Cut to the chase, I said, remaining standing. What's this about? Dad put down his iPad, revealing what I'd been expecting, an article about my company's recent valuation. Care to explain this? Looks pretty self-explanatory to me. $200 million? Mom's voice cracked. Your little website is worth $200 million? 240, actually. That article's a few months old. Dad's face reddened. And when exactly were you planning to tell us about this? I wasn't. We're your parents. Mom slammed her hand on the table. We raised you, supported you. Supported me? I laughed. Like when you told everyone I was a disappointment? Or when you spent my college fund on Reginald's gambling debts? We did what was best for the family, Dad interjected. Everything we've done has been for this family. Really? Should we talk about what's best for the family, Dad? Because I have some interesting documents that might change your perspective on that. He paled slightly but pressed on. As your parents, we have a right to... To what? My money? Is that what this is about? Don't be dramatic, Mom said. We're simply saying that as your parents, we deserve to share in your success. After all, we gave you everything. I pulled out my phone, playing a recording from 15 years ago. That internet nonsense will get you nowhere, Amber. You're embarrassing this family with your silly dreams. Dad's voice, crystal clear through the speaker. You recorded us? Mom gasped. I recorded everything. Every insult, every time you chose Reginald over me, every scheme you plotted. Speaking of which, how's the Peterson account, Dad? Still cooking those books? His face went from red to white in seconds. How dare you? No, how dare you? I stepped closer to the table. You want to talk about family? Let's talk about how I paid for Reginald's rehab last year, anonymously, because heaven forbid anyone know the golden boy had a problem. Mom's coffee cup clattered against its saucer. What rehab? Oh, you didn't know? Funny how secrets work in this family, isn't it? Whatever you think you know, Dad started, but I cut him off. I know everything. Every fraudulent transaction, every covered-up scandal, every lie you've told to maintain your precious reputation. I pulled up another document on my phone. Want to see the proof? I'm presenting it at the reunion anyway, but I could give you a preview. You wouldn't dare, Mom whispered. Try me. Or better yet, try explaining to your country club friends why Dad's firm is under federal investigation. That should make for interesting gossip over tennis. Dad stood up so fast his chair toppled backward. I could destroy you. No, Dad, I could destroy you. The only difference is I have proof to back it up. The back door opened and Reginald stumbled in, looking like he hadn't slept. Perfect timing, I said. We were just discussing family obligations. Mom and Dad seem to think they deserve a share of my success. What do you think, Reg? Should we tell them about your success stories? Amber, please, he mumbled. Please what? Please keep quiet about the embezzlement, the addiction, the fact that you're one bad day away from losing everything? Mom started crying, her usual manipulation tactic. We're your family. No, I said quietly. You're people who share my DNA. Family doesn't do what you did to me. Family doesn't tear down dreams or steal futures. What do you want? Dad asked, his voice heavy with defeat. I want you to sit there at the reunion today and watch as everything you built comes crumbling down. I want you to feel what I felt. Powerless, exposed, humiliated. You'll regret this, he threatened. I headed for the door, pausing only to say, the only thing I regret is believing in you for so long. See you at the reunion. Don't be late. The show won't wait for you. As I walked out, I heard Mom's sobs and Dad's angry muttering. Reginald called after me, but I didn't turn back. They'd made their choices years ago. Now it was time for them to face the consequences. I met Violet at our old hideout, the small cafe 2 blocks from the house where we'd spent countless hours plotting teenage escapes. She was already waiting, a stack of folders beside her coffee. You look like hell, she said as I slid into the booth. You should see the other guys. I ordered a double espresso. Tell me you have something good. Violet leaned forward, lowering her voice. Better than good. Remember how Uncle Marquis always bragged about landing the Peterson account? The one that made him partner? She pulled out a document, sliding it across the table. More like the one that should have landed him in prison. Look at the signature dates. I scanned the papers, my eyes widening. These are backdated by 3 years. And that's not all. She produced another folder. I found these in my mom's attic. Aunt Poppy's been hiding them for years. Letters from the SEC about suspicious trading patterns. How did you get these? Mom's spring cleaning turned up some interesting skeletons. She was more than happy to share once I told her about Aunt Poppy's comments about her divorce. The waitress brought my coffee, and I took a long sip. This is perfect. But are you sure you want to be involved? They'll know you helped me. Please, Violet scoffed. They've been treating us like second-class citizens for years. Remember my high school graduation? I did. Aunt Poppy had spent the entire ceremony talking about Reginald's internship. Besides, Violet continued, I've got more. You know Patricia? Mom's best friend? Ex-best friend. Turns out Aunt Poppy slept with Patricia's husband right before their divorce. Patricia's been sitting on that information for years, waiting for the right moment. I nearly choked on my coffee. Mom's going to have a meltdown. That's not even the best part. Violet pulled out her phone, showing me a series of text messages. Patricia's been gathering evidence about Uncle Marquise's firm. She used to work in their accounting department. Why didn't she come forward before? Fear, mostly. But when I told her about your plan, Violet grinned. Let's just say she's ready to be a star witness. My phone buzzed, a text from Reginald. We need to talk. Please. Ignore it, Violet said, reading my expression. He made his choices. Did you know he tried to blame his latest embezzlement on his assistant? The one who committed suicide last month? I nodded. The family covered it up, of course. Wouldn't want to tarnish the precious family name. Speaking of family names, Violet pulled out one last document. You might want to see this. It's about your college fund. I read through the paper, my hands shaking with rage. They didn't just spend it on Reginald's gambling. They never even set it up in the first place. They used your social security number to open credit cards instead. The debt's still out there, in your name. The cafe door chimed, and we both looked up to see Patricia walking in. She spotted us and made her way over, her usual elegant composure firmly in place. Ladies, she said, sliding into our booth, I believe we have some matters to discuss. Patricia, I started. You don't have to. Oh, but I do. She pulled out her own folder. Your mother didn't just betray me, Amber. She's been betraying everyone for years. These are copies of loans she took out in other people's names, friends, family members, even her own sister. Violet whistled low. Aunt Poppy's been busy. Indeed. Patricia's smile was sharp. And I think it's time everyone knew exactly what kind of people they really are. My phone buzzed again, this time from Mom. Whatever you're planning, think about what this will do to the family. They're trying to guilt you, Violet observed. Too late for that. I showed them the guest list for the reunion. Everyone who matters will be there. The country club crowd, Dad's business partners, all the people they've been lying to for years. Perfect audience, Patricia said. And I took the liberty of inviting a few special guests, including Thomas from the SEC. He's very interested in your father's creative accounting. You really want to do this? I asked her. There's no going back. Patricia's eyes hardened. Your mother destroyed my marriage, smiled to my face for years knowing what she'd done, and then had the audacity to blame me for not keeping my husband happy. Yes, I want to do this. Violet raised her coffee cup. To karma. To justice, Patricia added. I looked at my phone one last time. 3 missed calls from Reginald, 2 from Dad, and a text from Mom asking to discuss terms. To truth, I said, clinking my cup against theirs, and to family, the real kind. The country club's grand ballroom buzzed with pre-reunion activity as I set up my presentation. Violet helped me connect the laptop while Patricia strategically placed hidden recorders around the room. Testing, testing, I whispered into my lapel microphone. Violet gave me a thumbs up from the sound booth. Your brother's here, Patricia announced, peering through the window, and he looks unstable. I watched Reginald pace the parking lot, repeatedly checking his phone. His expensive suit couldn't hide the tremors or the sweat on his forehead. Amber! My mother's voice echoed through the ballroom. She rushed toward me, designer heels clicking against the marble floor. We need to talk, now. We're past talking, Mom. $1 million, she blurted out. Your father and I will give you $1 million to stop this nonsense. I laughed. With what money? The money you stole from Mrs. Rodriguez? Or maybe from Dad's pension fund scam? Her face whitened. How did you know about Mrs. Rodriguez? Your elderly neighbor who trusted you to manage her retirement? The one who now lives in a studio apartment because you emptied her accounts? That's not... We were going to pay her back. Like you paid back all the others? I turned to the screen, pulling up a spreadsheet. 23 victims, Mom. 23 people who trusted their money to Dad's firm while you both lived large on their life savings. We did what we had to do, she hissed, to maintain our position, to give you children. To give Reginald everything and me nothing? I clicked through more documents. Here's my favorite part. The trust fund you told everyone you set up for me? The one that supposedly proved what wonderful, providing parents you were? Show me where it is, Mom. Show me one proof it ever existed. The ballroom doors opened again as guests started arriving. Mom's social mask slipped instantly into place, her voice dropping to an urgent whisper. Please, don't do this to us. Think about your father's reputation. Should have thought about that before he forged my signature on those credit cards. Dad appeared behind her, his face stormy. Last chance, Amber. Stop this now or what? I stepped closer. You'll disown me? Cut me off? Pretty hard to do when I'm worth more than your entire firm. You ungrateful little... Everything ready? Violet interrupted, appearing at my side. Almost, I said, just waiting for our special guest. Special guest? Mom's eyes darted around the room. Who else did you invite? As if on cue, Thomas from the SEC walked in, accompanied by two serious-looking men in suits. Dad's face went from red to gray in seconds. "You didn't," he whispered. "Oh, but I did. And look, there's Mrs. Rodriguez herself. Violet was kind enough to send her an invitation. Should we ask her about her retirement fund, Dad?" More guests filtered in. The country club crowd, Dad's business partners, all the people they'd been deceiving for years. Reginald finally stumbled in, making a beeline for the bar. 10 minutes until showtime, Violet announced cheerfully. "Stop this." Mom pleaded one last time. "We're your parents." Parents? I pulled up the first slide of my presentation. Parents don't steal their child's identity. Parents don't mock their daughter's dreams while enabling their son's addictions. Parents don't destroy innocent people's lives to maintain their social status. "I have contacts," Dad threatened. "I can make sure you never do business in this town again. Good thing my business is worldwide then." I nodded to Violet, who dimmed the lights. "You might want to find your seats. The show's about to begin." They retreated, huddling together at a front table. Reginald joined them, clutching a whiskey glass with shaking hands. Around them, the room filled with all the people they'd spent years impressing, deceiving, and stealing from. Patricia positioned herself near the emergency exit, phone ready to record everything. Thomas from the SEC sat with his colleagues, files open on the table before them. "Ready?" Violet asked, her finger hovering over the computer's spacebar. I looked at my family, really looked at them. Mom's perfect makeup couldn't hide her fear. Dad's commanding presence had shrunk to desperate glances at the exits. Reginald could barely sit still, probably needing another fix. For a moment, I saw them as they once were in my childhood eyes. Larger than life, untouchable, perfect. Then I remembered Mrs. Rodriguez's tears, the assistant's suicide, all the lives they'd ruined while maintaining their facade of respectability. "Ready," I said, stepping up to the podium. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. I have quite a story to tell you about my family." The first slide appeared on the screen, and the gasps began. There was no going back now. "Let's start with a story about trust." I began, clicking to the first document. "Mrs. Rodriguez, would you mind standing up?" The elderly woman rose slowly, supported by her daughter. The room fell silent. "Mrs. Rodriguez trusted my parents with her life savings, 40 years of hard work. Would you like to tell everyone what happened to that money, Mom? No? Then I will." The screen displayed bank statements, transfers, forged signatures. Each click of the presentation brought new gasps from the audience. $2.5 million, I announced, transferred gradually into offshore accounts under my father's control. Money that was supposed to fund Mrs. Rodriguez's retirement, her grandchildren's education, her late husband's medical bills. "This is slander." Dad stood up, his voice shaking. "I'll sue you for what? Telling the truth?" I clicked to the next slide. "Speaking of truth, let's talk about the Peterson account. Mr. Peterson, I believe you're here tonight." A distinguished man in the back straightened up, his expression darkening as numbers filled the screen. "These documents show how my father's firm has been systematically embezzling from your company's pension fund. The signatures are forged, the dates are altered, and the money—" I paused for effect. "Well, some of it went to cover my brother's gambling debts." Reginald lunged for the door, but Thomas's colleagues blocked his path. "Sit down, Mr. Montgomery," Thomas called out. "We have some questions about those transactions." Mom grabbed Dad's arm, her perfectly manicured nails digging into his sleeve. "Do something." "Oh, we're just getting started," I continued. "Let's talk about identity theft, specifically how my parents opened multiple credit cards in my name when I was still a minor." The projector displayed credit card statements, loan applications, all bearing my forged signature. While they were telling everyone about my trust fund, which never existed, they were actually destroying my credit score before I could even vote. Patricia stood up next. "If I may, Amber, I have something to add." Mom's face went ashen. "Patricia, please. Your best friend for 20 years, wasn't I, Poppy?" Patricia's voice carried across the silent room. "Tell them why we really stopped speaking. Tell them about Robert." "This is private business," Mom sputtered. "Like the private business of sleeping with my husband? Or the private business of stealing from your own sister?" More documents appeared on screen, loans taken out in various names, all traced back to my parents' accounts. "You see," I addressed the stunned audience, This isn't just about money. It's about a lifetime of lies, manipulation, and betrayal. Reginald suddenly stood up, swaying slightly. I need to say something. Sit down, Dad hissed. No, I'm done covering for you. Reginald turned to face the crowd. Everything she's saying is true. I helped hide the evidence, helped cook the books. Dad said it was for the family, but it was really for his reputation, his social status. You ungrateful. Dad started toward him, but Thomas's agent stepped forward. Mr. Montgomery, I suggest you remain seated. We have some serious matters to discuss. The room erupted in whispers. I could see Mrs. Rodriguez crying softly, her daughter comforting her. Mr. Peterson was already on his phone, presumably calling his lawyers. One last thing, I said, pulling up the final slides. These are records of every transaction, every fraud, every lie. Copies have been sent to the SEC, the FBI, and every victim's lawyer. It's over. Mom collapsed into her chair, her perfect facade crumbling. Dad stared straight ahead, his empire disintegrating before his eyes. You've destroyed this family, he said quietly. No, Dad, you did that yourself. I'm just turning on the lights. Violet appeared at my side with a stack of folders. The SEC would like to speak with you and Mom in private, and the police are here for Reginald. Something about outstanding warrants. As the authorities moved in, the room descended into chaos. Country club members hurried out, whispering frantically into phones. Business partners huddled with their lawyers. Mrs. Rodriguez approached my parents, years of pain evident in her eyes. I trusted you, she said simply. I trusted you with everything I had. Mom couldn't even look at her. I watched as my family was escorted out, Dad and Mom with the SEC, Reginald with the police. They looked smaller somehow, stripped of their pretenses and power. Patricia touched my arm gently. Are you okay? I don't know, I admitted, but I'm better than I was yesterday. Through the window, I could see reporters arriving, drawn by the scandal. Tomorrow, everyone would know the truth about the perfect Montgomery family. And for the first time in my life, I felt truly free. The next morning's headlines screamed across every local paper. Prominent financial advisor arrested in multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since dawn. I sat in my hotel room, watching the morning news coverage with Violet and Patricia. My parents' faces flashed across the screen as they were led out of the police station after posting bail. Turn it up, Violet said, leaning forward. Sources say the fraud spans over 2 decades, the reporter announced. Multiple victims have come forward, including prominent business leaders and elderly retirees. The SEC estimates losses could exceed $50 million. My phone rang. Reginald's lawyer. Hello? Ms. Montgomery, your brother would like to speak with you. He's agreed to cooperate fully with authorities, but he's asking for your help. I put the phone on speaker. With what? Rehabilitation. He says you helped him before anonymously. He's ready to get clean for real this time. Patricia raised an eyebrow. I covered the phone. What do you think? He did come clean at the reunion, she whispered. That took guts. I uncovered the phone. Tell him I'll help with rehab, but only if he makes full restitution to everyone he hurt, including his former assistant's family. Agreed. And he wanted me to tell you he's sorry for everything. After hanging up, I turned back to the TV. They were interviewing Mrs. Rodriguez now. They were my friends, she said, tears in her eyes. I trusted them with my husband's life insurance, with everything we'd saved. Now I'm working part-time at 72 just to afford my medication. Violet squeezed my hand. You did the right thing. A sharp knock at the door made us all jump. Patricia opened it to find my mother standing there, looking like she'd aged 10 years overnight. 5 minutes, she said. Please. I nodded and she entered, refusing the seat Violet offered. Your father's firm is finished, she said without preamble. The house is being seized. Our accounts are frozen. Everything we built. Everything you stole, I corrected. Yes. She seemed to deflate. Everything we stole. The country club has revoked our membership. Our friends won't take my calls. Even your aunt, my own sister, has filed charges for identity theft. What do you want, Mom? I want to understand. Why now? Why like this? You could have confronted us privately. Like you confronted Mrs. Rodriguez privately? Or Reginald's assistant before she died? How many lives did you destroy privately, Mom? She flinched. We never meant for anyone to get hurt. Really? What did you think would happen when you stole people's life savings? When you forged their signatures and emptied their accounts? We were protecting our status, our reputation. Your lies? I interrupted. You were protecting your lies, and now everyone knows the truth. She moved to the window, staring out at the reporters still camped in the parking lot. Your father's talking about divorce. Says he needs to protect what assets he has left. Shocking. A man who'd steal from the elderly would abandon his wife to save himself. I deserve that, she whispered. I deserve all of this. But Amber, you're still my daughter. No, Mom. I stopped being your daughter the day you chose your social status over my future. The day you stole my identity instead of believing in me. My phone buzzed, a text from Thomas. Federal indictments coming tomorrow. Thought you should know. They're going to arrest your father again, Mom said, reading my expression. Aren't they? I nodded. She straightened her shoulders, some of her old poise returning. I should go. I need to pack what they'll let me keep. At the door, she paused. For what it's worth, I am proud of you. Not for this, but for what you built on your own. The daughter I failed to see became the woman I couldn't imagine being. After she left, Patricia broke the silence. Well, that was unexpected. She's still manipulating, Violet said, playing the victim. Maybe, I replied. Or maybe she's finally seeing herself clearly for the first time. My phone buzzed again. Mrs. Rodriguez's daughter. Mom wants to know if you'll join us for dinner tonight. She says she'd like to thank you properly. As I typed my reply, I could hear more reporters arriving outside. Tomorrow would bring federal charges, more revelations, more consequences. But for now, I had dinner plans with people who understood the true meaning of family. Coming to dinner? I asked Violet and Patricia. They both nodded, and we gathered our things. As we left the hotel through a side door, I caught one last glimpse of the news vans, their cameras ready to capture the next chapter of the Montgomery family's fall from grace. But that wasn't my story anymore. I had a different kind of family now, one built on truth, not lies. The courthouse steps were crowded with reporters as my father was led out in handcuffs. 15 years for fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy. Mom got 8 years in a separate trial with additional charges pending. I watched from across the street, remembering all the times they'd stood on those same steps, proud and untouchable, looking down on everyone else. Ready to go? Violet asked, keys in hand. Almost. There's one more thing I need to do. We drove to the rehabilitation center where Reginald was completing his 90-day program. He looked healthier now, clear-eyed, steady hands. I didn't expect you to come, he said as we sat in the garden. Wasn't sure I would. I handed him an envelope. Your assistant's family agreed to meet with you once you're ready. They want to hear the truth about what happened. He took the envelope with trembling fingers. I wrote them a letter, but it wasn't enough. Nothing will be enough, but the truth is a start. The trust fund money, he said suddenly. The one that was supposed to be yours. I found out where Dad hid it. I leaned forward. What? It did exist, originally. But Dad moved it through shell companies, then used it as collateral for loans. I have all the documentation. The lawyers think they can recover most of it. I don't need the money. I know. He smiled weakly. But Mrs. Rodriguez does. And the others. Understanding dawned. You want to use it for restitution. It's not enough to cover everything, but... He shrugged. It's a start, like you said. My phone buzzed. Mrs. Rodriguez was calling. I'd been helping her navigate the legal proceedings, and somewhere along the way, she'd become like the grandmother I never had. She's making dinner tonight, I told Reginald. Her famous paella. You should come once you're out of here. You'd want that? Want? No, but maybe we both need it. Back in the car, Violet handed me a newspaper. The business section featured my company's latest charitable initiative, a foundation helping victims of financial fraud rebuild their lives. Patricia called, she said. The support group is taking off. 10 new members just this week. I thought about those meetings, where people shared stories of betrayal and recovery. Mom's sister was there sometimes, working through her own healing. Even some of Dad's former business partners attended, though they sat in the back, still processing their unwitting role in his schemes. Did you see this? Violet showed me her phone, A social media post from one of the country club members. Privilege isn't a shield from consequences. Money isn't a substitute for morality. Thank you, Amber, for showing us the truth. We pulled up to Mrs. Rodriguez's modest apartment building. Through the window, I could see her setting the table, Patricia helping with dishes. They waved us up. Before we go in, Violet said, there's something you should know. The federal investigators found more evidence. Dad was stealing long before you were born. This was never about providing for family. It was always about power. I know. I grabbed the container of dessert from the back seat, but that's his legacy, not mine. Upstairs, Mrs. Rodriguez hugged me tight. My angel, she called me, like always. The apartment was small but warm, filled with photos of her real treasure, family, friends, love. I made flan, I said, placing the dessert on her counter. But first, look. She proudly showed me her new lease. She'd be moving to a better apartment next month, thanks to the first restitution payments. As we gathered around her table, I looked at these people who'd become my true family. Patricia, who'd turned her pain into purpose. Violet, who'd stood by me when standing up was hardest. Mrs. Rodriguez, who'd lost everything but kept her heart open. A toast, Patricia raised her glass. To truth. To justice, Violet added. To family, Mrs. Rodriguez said, squeezing my hand. I thought about Reginald, trying to rebuild himself. About Mom and Dad, facing the consequences of their choices. About all the lives touched by their actions and my response. To healing, I said, raising my glass, and to choosing who we become. Outside, the city continued its rhythm. Somewhere, reporters were still telling our story. Lawyers were still untangling decades of fraud. People were still recovering, still healing, still learning to trust again. But here, in this moment, surrounded by genuine love and honest hearts, I was exactly where I needed to be. Now, Mrs. Rodriguez announced, bringing out her paella, we eat, we laugh, we live. That's what real family does. And she was right. That's exactly what we did.